Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amrutam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Oh, may the Divine lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. Oh, peace, peace, peace.
This song is written and composed by Sri Jyotirendra Thakur. You are my refuge in this limitless ocean. There is no one else to take away the fear and darkness. How else the poor souls live without you? You end the sorrow and bring spring in my heart whenever I meditate upon your enlightened face. You are my lifelong friend. I won't be able to live without you. My thirsty eyes urge to call upon you. You are my only refuge. Hare
I'm reading from the book Nag Mahashaya, a saintly householder disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. This topic is related to his final exit. 3 days previous to his final disappearance, Nag Mahashaya asked Mr. Chakraborty, Sharatchandra Chakraborty, to consult the almanac and find out an auspicious day for departure. He could not understand that he was asked to find out the day for the final departure. So he said innocently, 13th of Paush, after 10 o'clock in the morning, is an auspicious moment for starting. Mr. Chakraborty was dumbfounded when Nag Mahashaya said, if you so permit, I shall finally start on that day. He felt extreme mortification and went out and related everything to the wife of Nag Mahashaya. Whereupon she said, my boy, no use crying anymore. He will not live any longer. Let his will be done. Let Sri Ramakrishna's will be done. 2 days prior to his death, his wife, Mr. Chakraborty, and another devotee were sitting by his bedside. And Nag Mahashaya was lying with his eyes closed. Suddenly, he opened his eyes and with a busy look said, oh, Sri Ramakrishna has come here and he intends to show me the places of pilgrimage. Then, having turned his eyes towards Mr. Chakraborty, he said, well, mention the names of holy places and I shall see them. Mr. Chakraborty had been to Haridwar lately and he mentioned the name. At this, Nag Mahashaya, with great excitement in his voice, went on saying, oh, Haridwar, Haridwar, there comes down Mother Ganga from the Himalayas with a murmuring sound. The banks and the trees on them are dancing, as it were, with her waves. Look, there on the other side stands the Mount Chandi. Ah, what a beautiful bathing ghat it is! How many beautiful stairs, one after the other, have gone down to the bed of the river. Wait for a moment, please. I have not bathed for these last 20 years. Let me take a plunge in the sacred waters and make my life blessed. Then with the words, O Mother Ganga, the Saviour of the fallen and the Deliverer of the sinners, Nag Mahashaya sank into a deep samadhi. After he had come down from that superconscious state, it seemed as if he really had finished his bath just then. The name of Prayag, Allahabad, was next mentioned to him. He bowed down saying, Hail Jamuna, Hail Ganga. Then he went on, is it not that the hermitage of Bharadwaj was situated somewhere here? But I don't see it. There I see the confluence of the Ganga and Jamuna. There on the other side I can see the range of mountains. Alas, Thakur is not showing me the hermitage of Bharadwaj. Then he fell into a doze. A few minutes passed in that condition, and again he said, Ah, I see it now. After a little pause, he continued, Well, Mother, thou art the consort of the great emperor of emperors. Thou art the great power herself, manifest. How is it that thou art wandering like this? Hail Rama, hail Rama. And he fell into samadhi. When he was again in his ordinary consciousness, the name of Banaras was mentioned, and Ranaghavasha at once began to murmur, Hail Shiva, glory to the Lord of the universe, Hara Hara Vyom Vyom. Then he said, This time I will be dissolved in the great Lord. Then Puri, Sri Jagannath Kshetra, was mentioned. Nagmahasaya continued saying, Yonder stands the stately temple of the Lord. There is the Ananda Bazaar where prasadam can be had. He also mentioned the name of Sri Chaitanya once or twice. Thus, the night advanced gradually and it struck 4. He felt a little drowsy and soon fell asleep. After 8 o'clock in the morning of the 13th Paush, he was falling into ecstasies continuously. Mr. Chakraborty began to utter loudly the name of Sri Ramakrishna. His picture was placed before his eyes, and then Mr. Chakraborty said, This is the picture of your master, in whose name you have renounced everything. He looked at it and saluted with folded palms. Then he uttered in his feeble voice, Grace, grace, grace out of thine own boundless mercy. These were the last words in his life. At about 9 o'clock in the morning, all signs of the last moment were visible. His eyes became a little red. His lips began to quiver as if he was muttering to himself something. After about half an hour, his eyes suddenly became fixed on the tip of his nose. His hair stood on his ends, and tears of divine love were to be seen in the corners of his eyes. When it was 5 minutes past 10, Nagmahasaya lay motionless in Mahasamadhi. Here is Sri.
Now a short video of meditation. Good morning, friends. Today's topic is plan for exit. Exit plan we always need for many things. It is in fact a preparation for living one's current situation. So we change the job, that also time we try to have plan for exit from this work to another work. So we'll have all the papers, all the things, all the salaries set. That's a plan. If you do plan, the things work well. If you don't do a plan, the things go, some mistakes are there. And sometimes we're bound and we don't reap the full benefit, and sometimes we're caught. Our Abhimanyu had the plan to enter the Chakravyuha, maze of area of army. Somehow he heard in the womb of his mother when Sri Krishna was teaching Subhadra how this happens. And Subhadra fell till he was going, and then after she fell asleep, then Sri Krishna stopped. And only how to enter the Chakravyuha, the maze of area of army, was told, but how to come out was not said. Abhimanyu, the son of Subhadra and Arjuna, was so brilliant. In the womb of mother, he learned everything of that warfare. But up till that, and the day when opponent, the Kaurava, challenged for Chakravyuha, that day Arjuna was treacly sent away. They themselves arranged something that Arjuna had to go out. Now the challenge had to be accepted, otherwise it is a defeat. Nobody else knew how to enter the Chakravyuha and fight there. Only Abhimanyu said, I have heard in the womb of my mother, but I don't know how to come out. So he has the knowledge and preparation how to enter, but how to exit, he didn't have that knowledge, which Arjuna alone had. So once he entered, he took the challenge, entered there, fought bravely, the 16-year-old young man, fought bravely with all big warriors of Kaurava side, and finally he was caught in because he did the plan for exit. We have exit for moving to a new house. Current house, we want to change that situation, and we have all the plans, packing the things and then having a deal and then getting a new house, how the house is, we have to plan. There is more plan for exiting the current country and going to immigrate to a new country. That we have all the things to do, we plan for that and prepare for that. There is the exit plan for living this world, living this body and living this life. That also needs plan and preparation while we are here itself. Otherwise we won't get the good things. It will be a great trouble and we won't get what we want. What after life, what we are going to get, what we could get, that we won't get. And we will be caught in the mess of this samsara as it is called. So this exit plan today is about, of course, plan for exiting when the time comes, exiting this life and how to have the best utilization, use of this life to get the best of next life. Life after death, that is the thing. We know there is life after death. In every religion it is there. In some religion, life after death is you go to heaven or hell, eternal heaven or eternal hell. You go there and you enjoy all of your remaining life, or you just suffer all of life, eternal damnation, eternal hell. So that is also life after death. And in Hinduism, in Vedanta, life is you go to hell or heaven for a limited period of time according to the work that you have committed in this life. If it is good work, you go to heaven, live there for some time according to the amount of good work that you have done in the world. If good work is of a very high degree, you go live there for a longer time in heaven. If it is shorter, you go to heaven for a short time. For the bad deed, you have to go to hell, experience the thing, and that also is over within the time, whatever wrong you have committed. And what happens after that is done? You again come back to this world. So that cycling comes, you are born again in this world. Born as what? As what? Born as Hinduism says that man hasn't to be born as man. Any life that you see is sacred and has the soul that we all human beings have. The same soul that is in a human being is in the dog, is in the elephant, is in the lowly man, is in the very highly scholarly man, is in the pure man. So soul is same in all. So when we get a new life, we can be born as a human being if we have done nice good works in this life. If we have done wretched works, then we, after reaching the fruits in hell or something, then we come back and we born like in an animal body perhaps, or in the life that will give us a lot of suffering in this life. So these are what it is told. So exit plan is not really a plan for exiting from the world itself, but from the worldliness. Otherwise, we will be like parrot, the story of Sri Ramakrishna said. That we tend to show that we are a very religious person, we are a good person, but in show alone, but not really convinced, not deep into our heart. So in parrot, in a very learned man's house, it used to recite the scriptures, hearing from the teacher. You see, teacher was to say scriptures, the Vedas and the Gita, and the parrot also used to recite. Parrot can imitate the voice that they hear. But one day a cat came and it caught that parrot. Instead of saying all those verses from the scripture or saying the name of God, parrot spoke in its own language, tia tia. That's what is written in the gospel. It started saying parrot's language. It forgot God's name, it forgot scriptures, it forgot everything. That last moment when death comes to us, we have to remember God. That is very important. If our practice in this life is intense, is at all times, then only we can remember God. Otherwise, we will be in the midst of worldly thought if those prevail in us. So preparation for exit is how to have that preparation. At the last moment also, we can think of that high thought of God, thought of knowledge, thought of love. That is the very important thing that we have to do. So there are the way how to live, have a strategy to be free, exit from the worldliness, so that when we exit from the world, we reach there, we reach divine, we reach our Ishta, we reach our cherished world, we reach our cherished goal. So to do that, what we need to do, that is said in the scriptures. Now, there are so wonderful example of Nag Mahashaya was shown how without visiting any of the holy places of pilgrimage, he had the experience of every place of pilgrimage by sheer grace of Sri Ramakrishna. That's what the pilgrimage is, you see. If you are pure and holy, you don't need to go to any pilgrimage. That tells the story. All pilgrimages come to you. You come to your eyes. In fact, in Nag Mahasaya's life, he didn't go to Ganga. Even Ganga came to his house. Water came in front of him in his courtyard, and that was a Ganga. That is the belief. In Swami Brahmananda's life, how these people, when they exit this world, this great spiritual personality, Swami Brahmananda, direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, the first president of Ramakrishna Math and Ramakrishna Mission, Swami Brahmananda, when he was at the last moment, he says, I can see Krishna coming, the boy Krishna coming, and please tie the anklets in my feet. I want to dance with him. Chum, chum, chum. I want to dance with him. Can't you see Krishna coming? So bright like the full moon, he is there. I want the Krishna of Ramakrishna. I am Rakha. I am the cowherd boy, shepherd boy of Vrindavan. I want to go to my Lord. That was, and he just closed his eyes in such knowledge, and he went to Sri Krishna that came to take him. So that was Swami Brahmananda. Swami Ramakrishnananda, when last moment was coming to him, he asked Girish Ghosh to compose a song. He just wrote a few lines, Po Halo Dukha Rajani, and asked the singer to go to Girish Ghosh and make him compose full song from these only 3 words. And Girish Ghosh, he prayed, he was a great person, he immediately composed full song. Then Pulin Babu was there, he was a great singer, he gave the tune, the song was arranged. He came back and sang song to Swami Ramakrishnananda many times. O Halo Dukha Rajani, this terrible night of suffering is now gone, is now getting over. For Ramakrishnananda, it won't be suffering at all. They were always in Sri Ramakrishna. The whole life was bliss, but physical suffering, of course, everyone has to have. So that was the song he sang, and after the song was heard a long time, he also had the same thing like Nag Mahasaya. His eyes fixed, and his gaze was fixed at the eyebrows, and the hairs stood on his end, and face flushed with joy, and the soul exceeded from the body. That is how the great personalities that go from death to immortality. Otherwise, what happens? Kathopanishad said, Mrityosa mrityumapnoti. One goes from death to death. From death to death. Who goes from death to death? Ya iha nana eva paschati. Those who see here only variety, only differentiation, only things, different forms, they go from death to death. That means they die, are born, and they again die. So it's like from death to death we are moving. The only condition to go from death to immortality is to be able to see underlying unity in this variety. Nityo anityanam chetanas chetananam eko bahunam. The one that resides in all this. We have to have the vision of that, otherwise, nityosa mrityumapnoti. We go from death to death, we don't go from death to immortality. That one is God. The God that resides in the heart of everyone. Sri Krishna says beautifully in the Gita, how is that God? God is like a thread that passes through the garland of flowers. Flower garlands are held together, but what is in them? We see only the flowers. So the thread that goes through all the flowers is one thread, and that makes all this garland together. All forms that we see, going through every form is that God. Present in every form as its soul is that one God. One who can see that God residing in all has seen oneness in the variety. And for those who have seen that oneness, that one being in this world, for them it is from death to immortality. Hajra was one lay disciple like Nag Mahasaya. Hajra lived with Sri Ramakrishna. He was born near Sri Ramakrishna's village. Sri Ramakrishna, he came to Dakshineshwar, he had some farm, some land, some debt. Somehow he wanted to come away from home and stay in the holy place. And he came to Sri Ramakrishna and did some spiritual practice. But he used to show more than what he knew or what he was. He used to show the people who visited Sri Ramakrishna that he is a great saint-like person. And often sometimes said, oh, Sri Ramakrishna is little less. Sri Ramakrishna once he was talking about giving up becoming pure. Purity, white color is the sign of purity, and red is the sign of activity, and black is the sign of tamas or lethargy. That's how the three colors are given for tamas, rajas and sattva. These are the three qualities that prevail in the world. So he was talking about how much one is pure. One day he says, Narendra is almost very much pure. Almost he's getting the purity, getting white. And what about you, Hadras Ji? Hadras says, oh, I'm all white. I'm all perfectly pure. Perfectly sattva. Then Sri Ramakrishna asked, what about me? So still you have some pinkish tinge you have. You are not that pure. So that was his saying about Sri Ramakrishna, you see. Or sometimes people used to come to Sri Ramakrishna, when Narendra, other people. He said, don't talk about bhakti, nothing. Jnanam, you have to have knowledge of Brahman, that is important. What he says is not true. Like that, he used to give trouble and also used to destroy teachings and the purpose of Sri Ramakrishna being there. So that was Hajra. Sometimes he was very close, used to come and bow down to Sri Ramakrishna, some was sometimes did to that. Once two persons came to meet Sri Ramakrishna, Ramchandra Datta and Surachandra Datta, and Hajra said to them, no, Sri Ramakrishna is not here, he has gone to Calcutta. Sri Ramakrishna was sitting inside. And then he came out and said, come in, I'm here. That was Hajra, you see. He was that type of person. He did not go to home. Mother was there asking for him. He has some debt. He didn't get that debt cleared. So that was a very confused type of person. Somehow, Swami Vivekananda had great impression for Hajra, about Hajra. Somehow I felt he is a good person. And there is in Gospel you'll find one discussion where Sri Ramakrishna wants to tell the real nature of Hadra, and Swami Vivekananda defends Hadra. No, he is a good man. No, he didn't say that. No, he is a very nice person. I have tasted, I have asked. So he defends Hadra very nicely. On 1st of January 1886, Sri Ramakrishna became converted. Hadra was not there at that time in the morning. When Hadra came, he heard that many people had got spiritual illumination and the grace of Sri Ramakrishna. Now he was panting for that, but how to do? He came to Narendranath, Swami Vivekananda. He said, can you manage something now? I'm late, but I want to have grace from Sri Ramakrishna. He knew about Sri Ramakrishna. He said, that sometimes it to come. So Narendranath took him to Sri Ramakrishna and said, we have to do something for Hadra. So Sri Ramakrishna said, what to do? He is not yet ready, he is not yet fit to get the grace. No, please do. Narendranath is pleading on behalf of him. Somehow he had a very soft corner for Hadra. Then Sri Ramakrishna said, when time comes, at the last moment, when you are pleading so much, he will have the peace, he will have the grace, enlightenment, like that. So when Hadra went back to home, village after Sri Ramakrishna passed away, lived there for many years, and when he was dying, that is the incident, Hadra. Hadra was dying, was in the room, last breath, and suddenly he said, oh, welcome, Ashun. Sri Ramakrishna has come, Thakur has come, can't you see? Spread the mat for him. He asked his wife, quick, he is standing, can't you see him? And she spread the mat. And then, after some time, he again closed his eyes. After some time, oh, now Ramlal Dada has come, spread the mat for him. Third time he said, oh, Jogin Maharaj has come, spread the mat for him. Like that he asked for 3 persons to spread the mat. He was in a very high state. He could see Sri Ramakrishna come, really there. After some time he said, Thakur, I don't want to die here. Last moment, we are not afraid of death at all. That is going from death to immortality. When you are not afraid of death, and you welcome death as something of higher region, going to from this world to the higher world of joy, that is going to immortality. You really, totally have no fear of death, no hatred for death. That is defined. The death is something, not the moment that one should avoid, but the moment that is welcomeable. It's going from one place to other, but at the higher, better place. And he said, I want to go out and die. I want to go to the Tulsi grove. Tulsi plant is very holy plant. And he said, okay, then they all took him to Tulsi. And they said, spread the mat for death. Thakur, let's go there. We'll sit there. And he was made there. Please sit on the mat. And Thakur sits. He's all very happy. And he sits there and he gives life there. He dies outside peacefully, contently. That is a great death for Hadra. You see, because of Swami Vivekananda's grace and of course Sri Ramakrishna's grace. Swami Turiyanandaji, he passed away in Benares. So before his dying, he was chanting from the Vedas and he said, this Brahman is real. And he said, this world is real. Everything is real. That he said. Brahma Satyam, Jagat Satyam. Now in the scriptures it is said, Brahman is truth, the world is Maya, Mithya. Brahma Satyam, Jagat Mithya. Here one knower of Brahman saying, Brahman is real, this world is also real, everything is real. Because he sees that Brahman in everything, he sees that God in everything, he sees that unity in everything. Eko Bahunam. That he sees that one in many, that he sees that, and one is real, many is the appearance. That's why it says, this world is real, the Brahman is real. After that he chanted, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Brahman is truth, Brahman is knowledge, Brahman is infinity. Said some time, and then just his eyes flashed, mouth, face flushed, become joyful, and here he stood on the end, he just passed. What is said in the Gita is, at the last moment, one should meditate, and we'll come to that, then the eyes should be fixed in the center of the eyebrow, the gaze should be fixed. They might have not practiced that. You don't have to practice always daily like that, trying to see the eyebrows between the eyebrows. But it happens when you are a spiritual person and attain the knowledge, that type of thing happens. It is being seen in the life of this great person. Rani Rasmani, also during her death, finished her deed for offering of his land and property for the Kali temple, and next day was her last day. So before he was getting, last moment came, he said, "Why are you lighting so many lamps? Big light of mother is coming." She could see. No need of this lamp being lighted. Light is coming, mother's glow is coming. And after said, "Oh mother, you have come, please take me." She was all along devoted to Divine Mother Kali. In her seal also it is written, "Rani Rasmani Dasi Sri Kali Charana Piyasi," who thirst for the lotus feet of Kali. That was her lifelong thing. She was a great worker, great organizer, very rich person, very brave person, but her mind was always fixed in divine. Devotee, genuine devotee of Mother Kali, made such a huge building, seeing the dream, great temple where Sri Ramakrishna manifested the Divine Mother to that statue. All was this plan, and she also had the vision of Mother Kali that we all know how it happened. There was one Kalipada Ghosh. His life is also very interesting. Kalipada Ghosh was like Girish Ghosh, very bohemian type, drunkard and all that thing. So Kalipada Ghosh, somehow his wife was very distressed and was very sad because of the life of her husband. Very much drinking and not living a good life, very indecent life he was living. So what to do? Someone said, he prayed to many temples. Someone said, go to Dakshineswar, there is a saint living and she may do something. He may do something for your husband. So she goes there to Dakshineswar. Sri Ramakrishna was saying, he said, I have some problem with my husband, can you help me? He said to Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna said, no, there is one lady sitting, go to her, she is more powerful than me and she can really help you. And says her to Sri Holy Mother who was sitting in the Nahavar. She goes and tells the story, I went to Sri Ramakrishna, my husband had this problem, please do something, some prayer, something to husband that his habits have changed. So Sri Mother says, who said? Sri Ramakrishna. Oh, it was not true. Go to Sri Ramakrishna. He is the one who can do if he can do. He goes to Sri Ramakrishna. Oh, she sent me back. No, she is not. Go back. She is the real person who can do. Like the 3 times they sent one after another. After one person and then again 3 times she had to do. And finally when she goes to Holy Mother, she had a pity on her. And she said, take this, she repeat this mantra, take this bilva leaf, she was doing puja at the time, and put it there in her house and repeat this mantra. That lady had so much faith. For 12 long years she practiced that mantra with sincere heart, that prayer. No effect was seen. Kalipada Ghosh was like Kalipada Ghosh. She never gave up that. She was continuing the practice, the day will come. And literally after 12 years, one day Kalipada Ghosh said, I want to go to see that Dakshineswar priest, Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna was inebriated, it was in the divine mood, and totally inebriated in the joy of Divine Mother, and walking like a drunkard person. Very happy, blissful. And when Kalipada Ghosh came, he saw Sri Ramakrishna's feet were not strong enough to walk on the ground. He was like inebriated. He said, oh, it seems you have drunk. Can you give me what you have drunk? She said, yes. But I want what you have drunk, that one, some British made thing, not the Indian thing, so that it gives a good kick. Sri Ramakrishna said, it's not British, but I will give you something that you will forget your drink. It is so wonderful drink. And he was waiting some drink to come that will give you more intoxication than you used to have. Sri Ramakrishna didn't give any drink, he just does Kalipada Ghosh. Kalipada Ghosh started shedding the tears of joy. Continuously started crying. This person who was drunk, who was not good behavior, not good conduct, by mere touch of Sri Ramakrishna, all his worldliness was gone and he became a devotee. Totally transformed. Must be inner something was going on. So it just manifested. He profusely he cried and started Sri Ramakrishna. He went there back that day, came again, Sri Ramakrishna came. Now Kalipada Ghosh became very devoted to Sri Ramakrishna. He started praying to Sri Ramakrishna, I have committed many sins in life. Please do something for me that I have a good death, I get a liberation. Sri Ramakrishna said, okay, repeat this mantra and do this, you'll go to the higher world after death. So one day Sri Kalipada Ghosh said, no, you have to convince me, you have to promise that I won't go to hell, I will have a better life. So Sri Ramakrishna said, yes, you will have that, I tell you. So then Sri Ramakrishna, she was pestering for getting more blessing, please bless me, please bless me. Sri Ramakrishna, I have given you everything, my grace full is there. So Sri Ramakrishna said that I wanted to go to Calcutta. Somehow he wanted to perhaps change the topic. Kalipada was, yes, I have come by boat, I can take you to Calcutta. And he took him to the boat. The boatman he quietly said, don't take him to Calcutta, take him to the middle of the river Ganga. And at the middle he goes and he catches the feet of Sri Ramakrishna. And he said, no, you have to bless me and you have to promise me that you will come. He said, I have given you everything, what do you want? No, if you don't say that you will come at the last moment when I die, I am not going to leave your feet. Sri Ramakrishna saw everywhere there water, no way to go, and he asked boatmen not to go. The Kalipada Ghosh had already said, and Sri Ramakrishna said, okay, when you last moment of your life, I will be there. And he said, no, you have to come with a light, and you have to take me with your hand, and then you have to take me. Sri Ramakrishna said, okay, that will be done. Whatever you ask, that will be done. And strangely, when he passed away after many years, Sri Ramakrishna passed away, his life changed. He became a very nice person like Girish was, totally changed person. And when he was dying, he held his hand, right hand like this, and as if someone was holding the hand and taking him away. That was the story of Kalipada Ghosh. All this, whatever he had done wrong was all changed and he was transformed. So how can we live a life that we also can have that wonderful moment of death when, as Tulsidas said, when we die, we will laugh and whole world will cry for our deeds. World will remember, oh, great person is going. And we will smile, be happy, yes, God has given me such a wonderful life. I am satisfied the way I live the life of great virtue. That we have to do. So Sri Krishna said in the Gita that whoever thinks of me at the end, antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kaleva. When was the time of one gets freedom from this body, whoever thinks of me, saprayati samadbhavam yati nasti atra samsaya. There is no doubt that he will attain me. Only he will have to or she will have to think of me at the moment of death, and I will be there. He will come to me and na samsaya. There is no doubt, confirmed, promised. That Sri Krishna says. In the 8th chapter, beautiful 8th chapter, verse 5. And he said, not only me, yam yam vapi smaran bhavam dedatyante kalevaram tam tamevaiti kamteya sada tad bhava bhatita. Whatever a person at the moment of death thinks, that he attains, that he becomes. And to prove this story, the story of Bharata. Bharata was a great king, he renounced the world, became a sannyasi, and was thinking of God. Suddenly he saw a fawn, a deer gave birth to a fawn, and that was being carried away by water. He ran from the hermitage, brought the fawn back to his hermitage, and started caring for the fawn. Deer was growing. Now this care for deer becomes so attachment that he thought of deer always. Deer was slowly growing. One day deer didn't come from forest for a long time. He was afraid, oh, maybe tiger ate, maybe what happened, maybe he got sick, maybe fell from the reach. Like that he was thinking all about the deer, thought of Brahman were replaced by thought of the deer. Now, at the moment, last moment came, death came. That time also he was thinking of the deer. When I die, who will take care of deer fawn? And when he died, he became deer. He was born as a deer. That's what Sri Krishna said. Whatever we think at the last moment, we become that. So we have to be very careful about the last moment what we think. If we love our husband very dearly and think of the husband, chance that we become husband in our next life. And husband loves wife, we will become wife in the next life. So we will have to very carefully be prepared to think what we want to become next life. So thinking at the last moment what sort of thoughts come. And thinking of money or thinking of property, then it's difficult. You may become born into stones and precious stones that other people will wear. We don't know. So last moment thinking is very, very important. What thoughts come to us in the last moment? Sri Krishna says that's why it is thinking at last moment. What do you think? It depends on not the last moment. That depends on now. Preparation for exit should become now. Why we are not exiting, perhaps we don't know when the moment of exit will come. But we should be always prepared for the moment of exit. It may come any moment. It's like a bubble just comes from the down below in water and bursts. Heart attack gone. There are so many cases we have seen. Every moment is a moment of death. That's why in the Sanskrit verse it is said, Grihita iva kesheshu mrityuna dharma matare. Always practice virtue, good things in life, as if the death has got hold of your hair. Death has come and he is going to drag you. Every moment you should think of death and live in this world. And ajara maravat pragyo vidyam artham cha chintaya. And when you think of learning and want to earn money, you think that I am not going to get old and I am not going to die. Ajara amara I am. I am immortal, I am deathless, I am ageless. Like that thinking, you earn your money and you get your learning. That time you think, oh, I am going to die, why to read? I am going to die, why to work? Then the things will not happen. So this balance has to be there. When we work as if we are living. When other time, then think that death has come. So remembering death amidst all the things makes us prepare for a moment of exit. How to do this? It says, Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena. You have to practice this, that God's name has to be always practiced. Chetasan Anyagamina. The mind doesn't go to anything else but to God, flows to God. Paramam Purusham Divyam. Then you can raise the Supreme Purusha, that God Supreme can be had. It explains, he who meditates on the omniscient, the ancient, the ruler, subtler than the subtlest, the ordiner of everything, of inconceivable form, effulgent like the sun, and beyond darkness, he attains the Supreme Person. In Ishopanishad also it is said, last moment, a yogi, what he does, he understands the last moment is coming. And as in the case, they were all prepared, the last moment coming, 13th of that Falgun at 10 a.m., I will give up this body. They were ready to, it was in their hand as it were when they are going to die. But in other cases also sometimes they are ready. We also feel that last moment is coming. Even our Swami Kripamayananda had so much plan for exit. He said, when I die, my body, life goes, do this to the body, keep it there, keep it for some time in the shrine, blow the gong, then on a viewing day, arrange this, take care of this. He made everything as if one event is being organized. He used to organize events, Durga Puja, Saraswati Durga Puja, then Sri Ramakrishna birthday puja, who will sing, what will happen. Like that, meticulously he said, when I die, for them death is not death at all. It is finishing the job that we have come for. Death is not something that we miss. For us, what happens? Death means, oh, we'll have to give up everything, nothing will be there. Where we go, we don't know, dark region or white region, there is God or not, is there something? We're all out of afterlife. There were two fetus in the womb, they were growing. And when they were growing, the children in the same mother, one person said, oh, I don't want to be born. They said, that is inevitable. Everyone who is in the womb has to be born. You cannot remain here forever. No, I want to remain here ever. It is so cozy, we get the food, it's warm here. I don't know what will happen after birth. I said, why after birth? It is said after birth there is mother, she takes care, we walk on our feet, there is sunlight, there is beautiful everything, nature. But Nobody has come and said that that is life. Everyone doesn't know. Nobody has come back in the womb and has said, oh, go, no problem, there is wonderful life. So how do I believe that? And when they were born, there was light, there was mother, there was joy, there was everything. That was birth. And that is death too. Nobody has come and said, this happens when we die. But scriptures say that when we die, it's more glorious. If you have lived a good life here, next life is going, life after death is to be going to be more glorious, more happy, that is going to happen. In Ishopanishad, that when a person is dying, he said, he prays to God that, oh, life force in me, get merged in the greater cosmic life force. Vayura nilamam amritam yathedam bhasmantakam sariram. When this body will be consigned to flames and will be chained to ashes, that time is coming. A time, a glorious time, when the recycling of the body will happen. It will be consigned to the flame, it will go to the acid. But I am not going to die. I am the Atman, immortal. That is the thing. And what will happen to me? I will be infinite. I will merge in infinity. A drop of water coming to the ocean and becoming ocean itself. The space within a cup is being broken and being consigned to the flame, and the space within the cup is merging with the infinite space itself. So like that is the death. And it said, Om Krato Smara, Kritakam Smara, Krato Smara, Kritakam Smara. Oh mind, now remember what you have done in life. All good things you remember, and in that joy you can go through that. It says about the remembering of the things. That's why it is said that at the last moment, all the thought and of what we have done in our life, it comes as in a movie. Our whole life is seen in the last moment, is seen and comes in front of our eyes. I was born this way, I did this way, I did this way. If we do bad things, all bad sceneries will come. If we do good things, all good things will come. So, isn't it good to die in a very nice thing that we have achieved? So for that we have to perform the good deeds, we have to think good thoughts so that they prevail at the moment of our death. Otherwise, whatever we have done, they are going to come to us. So, how to prepare for exit? Swami Vivekananda says, remember death all the time. All the time remember death. Somebody said, Swamiji, if we remember death all the time, how will we work? It will be a very saddening thing. We will become very morose, sad. Swami Vivekananda said, it may happen for some time, but after a few days you will get such a strength that convinced of death and being prepared for the death all the moment, you will become so strong that nothing will scare you. And you will do much more than what you would have done without thinking of death. There was one duke in France. She said, Swami Vivekananda, Swamiji, if I become your disciple and follow you and read Vedanta, what you will give me? What will I get? He said, I will teach you to love death. She said, loving death? So it was very scary. I'll make you prepare for death. So, no, I don't want to love death. Death is a scary thing, I don't want that. No, not that way. When the death comes, death will come to everyone. When the death comes, you can stare at the face of death and you will not be scared of that. So I will prepare for that thing. That is really going to immortality. When Swamiji was coming for the second time to the West from India, he called all brahmacharis and monks to his place and he said, you are all sannyasis, and you know sannyasa means, what is sannyasa? Give the definition of sannyasa. Sannyasa is love for death. That is sannyasa. It's a wonderful, wonderful definition. It's the definition of God. He says, God is unselfishness. Beautiful definition. And he said, death doesn't mean you have to die, you have to commit suicide. Death means you should not be afraid of death. When we conquer the fear of death, that time we have gone from death to immortality, conquering the fear of death. So these thoughts are the things which often make us guide. So we need to control our thought patterns. Our thoughts are conditioned by situation and surroundings. So when we are weak-minded, we are always influenced by what is around us. So we have to be strong enough, and our Thought should be strong enough, mind should be strong enough not to be influenced by the surroundings. If we are weak, we will be influenced by the surrounding, other person. And that person cannot really think that's what he wants to do. He will be swayed. So that one story Swami Swahananda told, that one person was going through, a minister of a church was going, religious minister was passing through the road, he found a few people gathered near a bridge. And he also got down his car and said, why are you gathered there and looking up at the bridge? He said, you see somebody has gone at the top of the pole of the bridge. He wants to commit suicide, perhaps it seems. So he said, people is trying to commit suicide and you are sitting all here, nobody going to try to save him, explain him how the life is glorious. So he said, I will go. The minister climbed the pole at the top of this, and it was very high, and they started talking something people are seeing from here, and he thought that person will come down, both will come down. But after a few minutes of conversation, they found both of them jumping into the pool. The minister could not convince him, that guy convinced him how to what is the life, to what is thing. So if you are weak-minded, others will convince you. We have to be strong-minded and we have to think about the thoughts what we do. Sri Krishna, that's why I said, Mahama Anusmara Yudhacha. Perform all the duties of the world, but always remember me. Maham Anusmara Yudhacha, when to remember? Not only during the time of prayer or during the japam. Sarveshu Kaleshu. Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Mam Anusmara Yudhacha. Wonderful teaching of the scripture. Always remember me, perform all the duties of your life, but all the time remember me. Put your portion of your mind in me, and that way you will get me when you die. That's what the one strategy, one exit plan is that always trying to remember God. So when death comes, then also we are remembering God. And another is open yourself for the grace of God with your act and thought every moment of your life. Always God's grace is coming to me. Always being open to the grace of God. That God's grace is continuously flowing. Just we need to ourselves open to that grace. And when we have that feeling that God's grace is there in everything that happens in my life, it comes by the grace of God, as the grace of God, then we become close to God. And for that we have to see everything, good or bad, as the gift of God. It's when good things happen, we get the lottery, it's a good grace of God. But when some minor accident happens, it is not the act of God. Not that will not do. Everything that comes to me, good or bad, is by the grace of God. And there is some meaning. To be able to see God's hand in everything, that is Mam Anusmara. Always remember God in everything. One person was going in the parking lot, and he didn't find any parking of this thing. All packed, and he prayed to God, Lord, please make a place, give me some place that so that I can park. I have to go to the airport to receive someone, and our whole parking lot is full. And at that, when he prayed, that moment one person that took out a car from, another person took out a car from his parking. And he was going to park, and he said, oh Lord, oh God, you don't have to do anything. I have already got a parking. So like that, then you think he has God has done nothing. Instead of saying his gratitude to God, he thinks he got it. So that way we won't do. We have to feel everything is done by God. Then only we remember God. Of course, that person was a little devotee and was thinking of God. So we need to be like somebody always remembering God and treating the last moment as the moment, cherished moment, when God will come to us, when we will meet with our Ishta. It is not something about something hateful, something very dangerous, but it is a moment when we are going to meet the Lord of our heart, God Himself, Mother, Divine Mother herself, Jesus Christ Himself will come at that moment. Whoever is my Ishta will come at that moment, and I will go with Him. He will take me or she will take me. That type of faith in God, and that will take away all our fear of death, and that is the real plan for exit. As Holy Mother told, as somebody was doing, every moment she was thinking that Rama is coming. Ours is also that every moment prepare that maybe we will have the vision of God. And Holy Mother, she said that whoever has come to Sri Ramakrishna at the last moment He will have to come to take you. If he doesn't come before that, at the last moment, he will have to come to take you. As it is true for Sri Ramakrishna's case, it is true for the Lord in any other form. So God will come at the last moment. This faith and acting, working in this world with that belief, with that faith, will be the final and best plan for our exit when we go from death to immortality, from darkness to light. They say that when God comes, this light of the world is nothing. God's light is many times, much more times brighter. So that is the moment that we wait for. And when we do everything as live in this world, in prasada buddhi, that prasada is the thing, sacrament of God, everything coming from God. If we can think that way, everything that we get, whether it seems good or bad, all is the blessing of God. That is the best plan for our exit.